things is mute your phone, please, if you would. All questions will be asked and answered through a process. We will have you put your questions through the chat, and Lindsay will be managing that very effectively. And so any questions that come back to our special guest today, or that come back to us today, will be asked through the chat. If we find a question is a lot more lengthy and deserves and demands to be requested in verbal form, we will actually unmute you or ask you to be unmuted, and we'll ask that you repeat the question so that we can understand it and then answer it accordingly. The goal is to hit this within an hour, okay? And so we'll pace this call accordingly so that we don't overextend the time limit. We know all of you have schedules. Many of you maybe are waiting to eat or are going to be eating while you are part of this call. We don't want to prolong anything that moves into your evening hours. And so we appreciate your response, and we appreciate your listening carefully and asking great questions and moving through this as we go through the presentation. The season is upon us, which is really exciting. I just have gotten back from our Collegiate Club Nationals in Lakeland near Georgia, where I thought the weather was beautiful. It was 60 degrees for the highs. We had people that were in like 3 layers of coats and caps and hats and stuff like that. And it was a wonderful way to kick off the competition season for events that we attend, at least that I attend. And it was really exciting to see 1,000 collegiate age athletes from over 60 different institutions that were really excited and were eager to let us know their spirit has not waned because of the pandemic. And so we were able to really enjoy ourselves for the 2 days that we were there. We also know that around the corner are some other events. We've got the Multisport National Festival, which is coming up in Texas inside of 25 days. We have a World Championship that's coming up in the next month. We have 2 World Championships taking place in June. So all of this is starting to gel very, very quickly. As you all know, hopefully you guys are in your training cycles where you are thinking about what you need to do to best prepare for these opportunities. And we're going to touch on these events and activities as we go through today's session. Certainly want to welcome the chief, the person that calls the shots. It's Lindsay Welker, who's on the phone. Lindsay's on my bottom right. I don't know where she sits on your screen, but Lindsay is waving. So Lindsay will be speaking for much of what we do today and covering this. We also have Jeff Manson, who's our travel guru, as we'll call him, does all the travel support that we have for our World Championships, and he'll be on the call today as well, along with other members of the Age Group Committee and the Multisport Committee, who do a lot of work behind the scenes for us as well. And obviously all of you that have a direct interest in TeamUSA and what we're doing, where we're going, and hopefully all the things that we'll get to experience this coming year. We're going to kick off today's call with something a little bit different. We're going to have a very, very special guests, I should say, in plural form. We have Zone 3, and through this great partnership we have with Zone 3, we're able to get you guys in what will be the fastest kits in the world. We have 3 people, as I noted, who are going to be here. They're going to speak about the brand, going to be discussing the tri-kits, and then answering questions through the chat as we've noted. So please welcome Morris Smith, the brand manager in the USA, who is with us, Martin McKinley, director of product and supply, and Mike Story, the general manager for Tri3, who will kick it off for us. So crew, welcome. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Tim. Good evening, everybody, or good afternoon. Certainly evening over this side of the pond. I'm Mike Story. I'm the general manager. My colleague Martin is the other UK representative on the call this evening. Delighted to join you. I'm very excited to personally join my first town hall event. Our third colleague is Morris, who's based over in Dallas. So he's our local contact for you guys to look after you all. We're really excited about the USAT relationship and building on the start that we made last year. And of course, obviously last year was very much interrupted by the global events. So really looking forward to stepping it up this year and really making a difference and helping you guys achieve your goals.
Thanks, Mike. Martin and Morris, would you guys be able just to talk a little bit about the new Team USA suits and maybe about sizing and how they fit a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So there's, I know quite a few of you have been in touch with Morris and for our team in terms of sizing, and we're certainly taking that on board, and we'll try and get some further graphics over to you to help with the sizing. But I'm probably best placed, being as a lot of the kit is fitted to me as a medium. So for the guys on the call, I can give you a bit of a heads up on that side of things. But the biggest difference is probably between the elite kit that we have done and also and the age group kit. The biggest difference is you'll find between the two is they still work off the same size chart, but the elite is just a little bit more compressive. What I would say about any of our kit is if you've used our kit in the past, the size chart is exactly the same for both. So if you've used the medium in any of our products, we keep the same chart, same size chart through everything that we do. So please stick within that. I have used your old Roker kit. We actually had some of it in the office. And from what we can see, definitely from the elite side, and I used to retail Roker actually in my previous job at Wiggle. And I'd say our zone 3 kit is very much more true to size. I found the Roker kit, you generally needed to get 1, maybe even 2 sizes. That is not the case with ours. So please, like I said, please have a look at the size chart. Don't use your previous kit as any guidance from Roker as to what you should be with us, because you may find that actually the size is there. All the details, obviously, hopefully on the landing page for you to see. I won't go through all the suits in a lot of detail today because I'm aware there is a lot of questions. It'd be much better for you to send those all into your reps, and then I'm more than happy to go through one by one and feedback. I'm sure a lot of them will be quite similar. We are going to provide Morris with kit to bring along to some events in all sizes, so you'll be able to touch those, feel them, try them on. And again, if you have any further questions at those points, then please keep feeding those in. Just seen a question about when we will have them. That would be a question for Morris in terms of where he's attending this year, but I'm sure he'll try and get those to as many events as possible. But yeah, we're super excited for the kit. You know, it looks good, it feels great. You know, we fitted it, myself and James, the owner of Zone 3. For the guys, in terms of a medium, I'm 180 tall, 72 kilos, and a medium is spot on. So I can tell you that because every single one of the men's kits has been fitted to me as a medium base, because I kind of fit into that area. So if you want to use that as a general guide, then you can. But please keep filtering your questions in. I'm aware there's quite a few. So yeah, I'll try not to answer them. Kilogram for those who just asked. Sorry. So yeah, please just keep filtering them in. We could probably be here all night to answer each one by one. I can see that popping up rather quickly. So yeah, please continue down the normal routes.
So what we'll do, Martin, Mike, and Morris, the 3 M's, the M&Ms for today. We will actually have Lindsay go through the chat, and we'll just start asking you guys the questions through that. If Lindsay, you're ready to roll, we've seen 5 or 6 or more questions come in.
Yeah, that sounds
sure. Great.
Cool. Morris, I know that we've talked about this a little bit, so it might be best for you to speak to some athletes that might have some concerns about the sizing charts, and their dimensions might not fit on what the sizing charts say. So how is that being handled, and who should athletes contact if they're concerned about maybe needing a bigger size suit and whatnot?
Well, hey there, everybody. Hope you can hear me. Thank you, Lindsay, for that introduction. Absolutely, yes. So, you know, what I've actually chatted with Martin a little bit, and we've kind of determined that give yourself about 10 to 15% wiggle room as far as the sizing chart is concerned. If that makes it, you know, hopefully that makes a little sense in terms of there's a lot of stretch involved in these age group suits. So there's a level of comfort, and we've taken that into account. So as far as the larger suits are concerned, I know that I've had a few conversations with maybe, I know for one, there's one person on here that I've had a conversation with, but those larger suits are on order. We're hoping to have those in stock in the US in June. Now we don't have a specific date yet, and I hope you have a little patience with us as far as that concerned. But once we get closer to that date, we'll have specific dates coming down the road. So as far as, I just also want to kind of dive into in the coming weeks here in Dallas. I'm actually based in Dallas, so I will of course be there at the multi-sport event, and I will have things. You will be able to touch it, feel it, and hopefully I'll have enough for everybody to try it on without waiting too long. So I'll be there to answer questions and help you out with that sizing if you need help with that. I know that some of us are on deadlines as far as races are concerned, and we are trying to address that as quickly as possible.
Thanks, Morris. Lindsay, you want to hit a couple more?
Yeah, along the same lines of the deadline, Morris, there's a question concerning our May race, which I know we've talked about as well. And maybe we've reassured our athletes that they're going to have a kit in time, but
yeah,
can you just speak to the timing of the shipping of the kits that athletes have already ordered, that you guys already have in stock, and kind of reassure the athletes that are competing in a month that they're going to have their kit in time?
Yeah, sure. I mean, all I can say is everything is looking, we don't see any delays happening. All right, at this moment, everything looks good to go, and everything's here in the States. So as far as timelines are concerned, yes, you're going to be fine. Actually, me and Lindsay have spoke about it. We haven't dug deep down into the actual details of it, but those May races, Lindsay's going to give me basically a spreadsheet, and we are going to try to prioritize those earlier races to make sure that we're going to push that forward, even if it's by a couple days. We just want to. I get it. I've been in these races before, and there's nothing more stressful than worrying about the last thing you should have to worry about is what you're wearing, because that's something we're used to having for weeks and months of training time, and my apologies that can't happen in this instance, but hopefully that's all going to we'll work it out and it'll all come out to be fine. So, but we are prioritizing that race. Lindsay and I are, for sure. So we're gonna make that happen for you. Okay.
Awesome. Thanks, Morris.
Yeah.
Could one of you maybe speak to the differences in the elite kits versus the age group kits?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, go on. Sorry, Mike.
Sorry, Martin. Just to interject there, just from my side, I just want to reassure everybody that we're doing absolutely everything we can on these kits. We are, and we're working as hard as we possibly can. Now, unfortunately, we are as affected by the global supply chain as much as anybody else right now. So I do know that we are very, very close. We've got kit in the States on its way to the printers. So it is literally days, if not less than that, to get the first tranche over, and Martin can provide more details. But from my side, I just want to make sure that everybody realizes that your guys' kit is a key focus in the business right now. In the moment, it's a daily conversation that happens over here in the UK.
Well, I just want to reiterate real quick, guys, Martin and Morris and Mike, that you guys have been extremely attentive to the very tight schedule, knowing all the delays that we've seen with supply chain, as you noted. It's actually almost miracle-like that you've been able to accommodate the teams as you have, because I'm still waiting for a couch to arrive in my house, and it's been 7 months. Just so you talk about supply chain issues, 2 years to get carpet in. So we get it, and I get it. And so I just want to make sure that you guys know how much we support and appreciate the work you're doing to make this thing happen.
Well, we really appreciate those comments, Tim. We share your frustrations. Ideally, we would have had this kit with you, a month ago, if not before then. if we get it over the line, and we will get it over the line, then when Martin comes across to one of the age group events, then he's the guy that you need to buy a beer, because he's the guy who's working tremendously hard on this.
Okay. Martin, you're going to say some things.
Yeah, I think Mike's hit the nail on the head there. I was just going to say that, yeah, we've kind of pulled out everything, and yeah, it's not necessarily me. Definitely my team has been working some hard shifts to get this across, and yeah, I don't think our CEO is too pleased by the amount I've put on a plane to get it to you guys on time. So we'll keep that quiet. But yeah, we're doing everything we can, and you know, I'm an age grouper in the UK, and I can honestly say you're in a much better position than the UK age group team, if that's anything to stand by. But yeah, I think importantly, we're in open communication with your USAT reps pretty much daily at the moment, giving updates, and we're tracking everything. So yeah, they will obviously get dates as and when they change and evolve.
Okay. Lindsay, you want to have a couple more questions? We've got a little bit more time.
Yeah, Martin, could you just speak to the differences in the kits, the elite kits versus the age group kits? There was a question if the elite kits have any, like an open back, like the swimsuit model. Does it have an open back? Is it a closed back, or what that kind of design is on the elite kit?
Yeah, sure. The images should be up, so apologies if they're not, because they have all been shot front, back, and tech shots. So I will check in with Ecom on that side of things. But yes, the swimsuit is an open back. They all fulfill ITU and World Triathlon regulations in terms of sizing and everything like that, in terms of zip placement on the full suits. But yes, it's an open back. The main differences between the two, other than style, is the fabrics. So the elite versions have a different fabric, all Italian. It's slightly more compressive. The age group is more of a graded compression, whereas the elite one is, as you would imagine, is a bit of a tighter fit. Again, like I said, I'm a medium in both, so don't for any time think that you would need to be bigger in the elite one. We have made sure that these are taken into consideration. I've come from a sports retail background, and there's nothing worse than when you're within one brand and you have to change in amongst brands within Power Rangers. So we've kept it pretty equal. Other differences, there's some tweaks to the gripper on the legs. There's more bonded seams on the elite version. There's no pockets on the elite. That was some of the feedback from the pros. So the elite suits, really, we did get feedback from the pros, from our own pros, from the likes of Tim Don, Sam Appleton, for example, as well as feedback from USAT right at the beginning. So yeah, we've ticked all the boxes that were asked, but it's as you would expect. It is a more elite version of the suit in terms of fit, fabrics. But yeah, it's I'll make sure that all the details are in. There's a lot of questions about size charts, so I will double check they're on the site. I assume they are. I saw them when it first launched, so I will double check those as well. But yeah, that's the biggest differences in between the two groups of kit.
Yeah, Martin, the kits or the size charts are on your website, and just to reiterate to all of our athletes, the size charts were in the FAQ that we sent out to all of you as well. So maybe just double check your inbox for that FAQ. It included the size charts, and like Martin said, they are on the website when you go through that ordering process and click on it. You know, one of the age group suits, the size chart does pop up. So thanks, Martin, for that. Could you talk about the timeline of the elite suits being available to age groupers? There's some questions if they'll be able to have in time for the June races. I know we've discussed this, and I believe the answer is no, but I don't know if you have any more insight you could share with the athletes.
Yeah, so Lindsay, as you know, there's a big breakdown in terms of what kit is coming over when. So if you're talking about elite kit for age groupers outside of your high performance team, is that right?
Correct. Yes. For
Yeah,
when
so
these athletes would be available to purchase the elite kits.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep. So we're doing everything we can to get those in for mid-June. We've had to prioritize all of our kit and the due to volume and what the demand was, the age group kit has come first. We were talking much bigger volumes. We've managed to get it actually ahead of schedule with the other elite kit. So the supply chain on that elite kit is long and varied. Most of the fabrics come from Italy, which was incredibly difficult to get during the pandemic. But we've managed to put it back, and we're doing everything we can to get those in for mid-June. So that's mid-June into the printers in the US.
Great. Thanks for that, Martin. So just to reiterate to all of the athletes on the call, if you're racing in June in Romania or Montreal, don't plan on an elite kit. You'll need to go ahead and purchase an age group kit to ensure that you have it in time for those June races.
Want to touch on sizes, Lindsay? Larger.
Yeah, I mean, Martin touched on this pretty well. I don't know if maybe some people jumped on late, but there's still just some questions about the sizes and do your kits run bigger than Roka, smaller than Roka? I saw a question about how do they compare to Kiwami? I think that's how you pronounce that brand. So maybe just touch on that one more time in case a few people jumped in late.
Yeah, sure. So key things about the suits. The size chart is as for those suits. It's not a generic size chart. So please check the size chart. It's in there in all measurements. I am a medium in both. So again, that it's been fitted around myself and James. So it is true to fit. If you've used one of our suits before and you're a small, medium, large, whatever, then please stick to that size. We have kept it exactly the same. And the only difference between the elite and the age group when you actually put it on is the elite will feel a little bit more compressive, predominantly around the legs, as opposed to anywhere else.
One of the things, Martin, that I know we have seen are the XL or larger than XLs and how to manage through that situation.
Yeah, so we've placed, that was some feedback from you guys on our previous call. So we have placed a wider size curve for our next order. So we're doing everything we can to get that to pick up on the same delivery as the elite suits that I mentioned for mid-June. So yeah, we're trying to get that all consolidated and sent at the same time. But that will have, we're going to do extra small up to double XL in all of our kits.
And if you're one of those athletes that has a concern about maybe needing a larger suit, I know many of you have, but feel free to reach out to me directly and I'll work with you on a one-on-one situation. Morris has been awesome as well, working with athletes on the one-on-one situation, and we'll find a solution. Zone 3 is willing to, make sure that there's a kit that fits every athlete. So if you don't see it online, don't worry, just reach out to me and we'll get connected with Zone 3 and we'll make sure that we get you in a kit and that you have it in order to race. So another question that came in, if an athlete did the try on option and once they receive it, it fits them and they like it, do those kits have the sufficient logos on them that they could just keep that suit and wear it for Worlds?
So they will come with the ITU logo and the Zone 3 logo. So yeah, you'll need to have your name applied, but USA will also be on there. So yeah, it should just be a name placement that you'll need added. If you need the guidance, if you go on to the ITU website, it's really easy just to find the guidelines and you can give that to any printer in terms of the sizing that you need for your name and the position as well. It's Lindsay, I can send you that document to distribute if you haven't got it to hand.
Perfect. Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks, Martin. And I know we're almost at the 30-minute mark, so we'll let you guys have your evenings back. But one more question that I keep seeing. Athletes are wondering if there's like a hard date that the kits are going to ship. I know you guys might not have the answer to that. Oops. But for the kits that are in the US right now, is there a projected date of when the kits are going to ship that athletes have ordered?
I can't give an exact date because they've got to get to the printers. They then will be in an order. There's a lot of you, so there's a lot of suits to be printed. But what we'll do, I think, as soon as maybe the first one gets printed, we can then update Lindsay and Tim, and then they can give you guys an accurate date of when it started. They can turn them around pretty quickly as soon as they start the printing. So yeah, we'll do that, Lindsay, if that makes it easier.
Okay.
Real quick, I'll tackle this really quick, Lindsay. We talked about names on suits. They're not required. It's an option. We certainly recommend that you do have your name on it, but if time doesn't allow for it, if budget is a concern, if you just don't feel like you want to have your name on it, you're not required to have your name on the suit. Just be clear on that, because I know some countries are told that it is required. It is not required by World Travel.
Great. Cool. Tim, I think we're probably good to wrap up this conversation. I know we have a pretty lengthy agenda still to get to in the next 30 minutes. So I just want to extend my thank you to Morris and Mike and Martin. This was super helpful. I'm sure all of our athletes found this incredibly valuable. And like we've said, you guys have been awesome to work with. So appreciative of all you've done and will continue to do. So just thank you for taking the time. I know it's super late for Mike and Martin. So get some sleep.
Yeah, I think it's almost midnight, is it not, guys?
It is.
Yeah, it is. It's 11:30 in the evening, but that's absolutely fine. We're more than happy to join the call. I think I've been tracking the chat as it's been going through, Lindsay. I don't know what the official next steps are from here, but maybe if we put up a resume over the chat, and if you can get that over to us, we can fill in individual replies in the next sort of 24, 48 hours to all the questions specifically. Maybe put that up as an FAQ email that goes out or something like that, so that we can reply. We'd love to reply one-on-one to a lot of the questions and give that as much clarity as we possibly can. As I say, we're as frustrated as you guys. We can't give you exact dates. We would have loved to have said the stock is at the printers. It's just not quite there, the age group suits, that is. But it is in transit, and we're pushing very hard on, and we're pushing, Martin and his team is pushing very hard on the elite stuff as well. So bear with us. We're keen to learn, keen to get feedback from you guys. Keep it coming through the USAT forum and colleagues, and we really look forward to a successful season with you guys.
Thanks you again, guys. One of the things that Lindsay noted that we'll do with this is we'll gather all the questions. We'll get them over to you guys. And if you want to do it in writing, feel free. If you want to go one-on-one, feel free. Lindsay can certainly put you in contact with the people that are asking the questions. Or if it's asked a couple of layers of times, we can also have you guys maybe shoot video on your phone so that it could be then placed on the website, so that a common question might be sizing. And so you guys can get someone on to do a 30-second overview of how sizing will work in the comparison to other brands, stuff like that. I think sometimes video is easier to communicate than long FAQs, and so certainly keep that open as an option as well.
Pictures paint 1,000 words, Tim. You're quite right. We will have a look at that. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Thanks again, guys. Get some rest. Morris,
thank you, everybody.
No excuses. You're in Dallas. You should be getting to dinner now. So
yeah, I'm not. I came from that family where we eat really late, so it's like way too early.
And have a successful season, everybody. We'll see you on the next one.
All right. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Martin.
Bye-bye.
And just to follow up, and then I'll let you all have your conversations. If you need anything as far as, yes, we're based in the UK, but I'm actually here for you, and I'm not a 9-to-5er. So, if you have questions, feel free to reach out to Lindsay. She can give you my contact information. Also, just so you kind of know, some of you might have received an email when you've contacted Zone 3. I tried to jump in. What we've tried to do is they've escalated some of these priority USAT issues so that I catch them. So I do have I have a different view of things so that I can see that and try to respond to you. I know for a fact I'm completely cleared out in that queue. So I've caught myself up, and I apologize again, for that first week, I know it was super stressful. We did get an onslaught of questions, but now that we're caught up, we should be good to go. So if you don't receive any reply from us at Zone 3, please feel free to reach out to Lindsay, and we have a very close relationship, and I will make sure I get in touch with you. I'll either call you or email you. I mean, if you prefer a phone call, I'll chat you up. So don't worry about that. Okay.
Thanks, Morris.
Yeah,
Thanks so much,
absolutely.
Morris.
Thank you
Appreciate
so much. Y'all have a wonderful night.
Yep. Take care.
Right.
All right. We're going to shift a gear, and we're going to get into some of the specific events that we have upcoming during the 2022 schedule. And so, there's obviously some themes that
Clean that mailbox.
and in the conversations that I have with Lindsay before each of these town halls that we do, she's able to cover the topics that are of greatest interest. And so what we thought we would do next on the schedule is speak to safety concerns. So Lindsay, you want to touch on a little bit, and I'll piggyback where I also know about things that I've learned through different meetings with World Triathlon as well.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Tim. So like we know, there's been a lot of questions coming in just about Romania, Slovakia, Abu Dhabi, all of our world championships for the year. We know there's a lot going on in the world right now, unfortunately, and it might just cause some unease with you all, but just know that World Triathlon is monitoring all of the situations in each location extremely closely. Tim and I get updates from World Triathlon, if not daily, weekly, and they are on top of it. World Triathlon, the LOC of each event, they are doing everything in their power to make sure that there's a safe event for athletes. They would not hold an event if it's not going to be safe for athletes. Another avenue is the USOPC. They have a whole department that monitors the safety for traveling of athletes, in the Olympic movement. So they're also in constant conversation with us about the safety concerns of these traveling to these locations. And as of right now, they've given us the green light that from what they know and what they're monitoring, it's safe to go to these locations and compete. Now we know they're still a couple months away, so things could change. So we will definitely update you all as we get updates, if there's any changes that occur. But just know that we want to do everything possible also to put you all in the safest position possible. So Tim, you can touch on that a little bit more.
Well, yeah, and I had a really good opportunity, Lindsay and team, to get with the multi-sport family on a conference call a couple of weeks ago, and it was actually taking place in Romania. So the person that we were working with World Triathlon said that he had spent the entire day with the team, with the LOC, and they'd been to the venue and they'd spoken to all the city officials, and they had done a lot of pre-work, because I said to him that one of the bigger concerns was really what was happening with Romania. And he said, Tim, you wouldn't even know anything is happening based on where we are with Ukraine and Russia and the fallout from the exodus from Ukraine for people's lives, stuff like that. So it's always sad. It's horribly sad that it's happening. But the good thing is that the impact will not be felt through the event, and there will not be roads shut down as we know today because of certain things that are happening. And there's not concern that we're not going to have the right housing, the right places for this to happen as well. So we're in a really good place relative to safety and being able to take a team and being able to take a team that really wants to be there and excited about being there. We're excited, and we hope you guys are equally as well. So let's move on. Let's go to Viborg. Lindsay, you want to touch on that a little bit next, being that we're bordering 30 days before that big race.
Yeah, so final registration has closed for Viborg. So the team has been submitted to World Triathlon. The team's confirmed. We'll have 15 athletes heading over to Denmark, like Tim said, in 30 days to compete. So best wishes to them. And yeah, so.
With Romania, we're gonna shift through this pretty quick, just so we hit the timeline here for this call. Let's talk about a little bit of Romania and the deadline for confirming your spot for that event.
Yeah, so final registration has been sent out to all athletes that paid the team deposit for Romania. The deadline to make that final registration payment is April 20th. So that's 2 weeks from today. So if you plan on competing in Romania, please make sure you get that final registration payment in. We then will submit the team roster to World Triathlon. No entries will be accepted after that April 20th deadline. That's just because World Triathlon won't accept any late entries. They have to, assign bib numbers, get a start list produced. So just make sure you get that payment in by April 20th for Romania.
Yeah, and I'll just add to that, that if there's concern that we don't know enough about the registration process and the timing and all that stuff, and you're not going to go because of the frustration, just let us know. One of the things that we do is we have a very, very close contact with World Triathlon, and your concerns are equally our concerns. And I hope through this call, you will share the situation and the position that we're in World Triathlon. And so if you're not going to go, you're not going to make the trek, we are sorry for that. But if you're going to go, we're going to get you on that list. We're going to get you to World Championship. We're going to have a support staff there. We're going to be able to do some great things to make this an unbelievable race for everyone. So certainly hope to see you guys register by the deadline, as Lindsay noted. Montreal, let's do that shift. Coming up quickly as well.
Yeah, so along the same lines, final registration has also been sent out for Montreal. The deadline for that event is April 18th. So just note those differences if you are competing in Romania or Montreal. Montreal is April 18th. And those differences are just the deadline set by World Triathlon. So.
And Lindsay, we have, is this right, over 300 registered right now for that race?
Yeah, super excited for the large team we'll be bringing to Montreal.
Okay, perfect. We, as you know, have been told that we're going to be in Slovakia in August as well, which is really, really incredible that we get to go to yet another country that we've never been to for any world championship dating back to 1989. Yes, it is in that part of Europe. As a matter of fact, it sits bordering Romania, sits right below Poland. But again, it's a very, very safe venue. Samor in Slovakia is a beautiful place from what we've been told. It'll be an incredible trip. With August 18th will be the aquathlon. We'll have long course tri and aqua bike on August 21st, held in conjunction with the Collins Cup. And so the great thing is we have an inroad with the PTO, which is the owner of the event. And so any and all questions, if we don't go through the LOC for the race, it's managing it, we get to go to PTO. And so we have two prongs of information feedback we can get. And so the return on questions that you're asking and us to get answers that we don't know through the processes that we've established with them, we can get the responses back to you guys fairly quickly. So excited by that. Anything else you want to add on Slovakia, Lindsay?
No, I think you covered it all.
Okay. Abu Dhabi, you want to run with that one?
Yeah, like we know, those dates will be November 24th through the 26th. Tim and I are super excited to spend Thanksgiving with you all in Abu Dhabi. So we hope as many of you will join as you can. And I've got some questions about when will final registration be sent out. That will come next month in May. We'll get through our June events, getting them submitted to World Tri, and then we'll move to Slovakia and Abu Dhabi and get those final reg payments sent out. So be on the lookout for that in about a month. You'll see those emails come through.
And we're getting really, really close on the final deferrals as we work through that, the original list by the deadline that was submitted. So we should be able to convey to everyone who submitted an application what the status is of their request. Correct, Lindsay?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. All right. I'm excited by Abu Dhabi to the extent that we're going to have a ton of athletes there. I've already picked out my canned turkey and gravy and dressing I'm going to bring with me in my little Heinz can that'll be part of the Thanksgiving meal that I have with Lindsay. I'm going to share with Lindsay, so we have a chance to eat our meal together. No, we're actually going to try to do some fun things around that, so that you guys are not completely alone with your crew there. And so we're working through the angles and possibilities around that. So it should be fun. We'll celebrate together, and it'll be a very memorable experience. I still go back to the first time I was away from my family for Thanksgiving in a long time. I was 26 years old. I was sitting in Palm Desert, California, for one of the world championships, and yeah, I still remember it. And so, if anything, we'll create a story around it, and we'll be able to tell people for many years of how unique and incredible the actual race is going to be. So, let's move on to Trysuits. We had a little bit of discussion. Are there any just final comments around Trysuits and the Zone 3 kits, Lindsay, that we did not cover as part of our Q&A?
I think we covered it all pretty well. Like the Zone 3 crew mentioned, I'm going to get a lot of these questions over to them, and we will get that out to you all with some answers in the next week, because there have been a lot of just unique questions, and we want to make sure that those get answered. So we'll take those, get them to Zone 3, and then get all those back to you guys within about a week or so. I do just want to add that Zone 3 and USAT put together a pretty comprehensive FAQ document that actually answers a lot of the questions that have been asked in the chat. So we emailed that out to you guys. If you didn't get it, no worries. That's housed on the TeamUSA website. I posted it in all of the specific world's Facebook pages. So it is floating around out there. If you haven't had a chance to look at that, I highly encourage you to go back and just read through that FAQ. It'll get a lot of your questions answered.
Speaking of communications, we've got websites, we've got a lot of things. You just want to touch on the ways very, very quickly, Lindsay, of how we're communicating with people about updates and things we're doing within the TeamUSA program.
Yeah, so I know I touched on this the past couple of town halls, but for any new athletes that are joining the town hall today, we do have multiple communication platforms to get news and updates and, you know, all that out to all of you guys. So we have team specific Facebook pages for each world championships. Each team has been sent the specific link to join the Facebook page. If you didn't get that link for some reason, those are also on the TeamUSA website under each team specific website page. So if you go to the main TeamUSA website and click on 2022 events, there's a little icon for every Worlds for this year. And if you click on that, there's all the information you need regarding your specific World Championships, including the link to join that Facebook page. We've also started sending out monthly team specific emails. So those come from our marketing and communications team here in the office, and those just again contain any updates that we have to date that we know about the upcoming World Championships for your specific team. And then another platform we're utilizing is WhatsApp. Again, those links have started to be sent out. I know Romania, Viborg, and Montreal, those links have been sent out in those team emails. The Slovakia and Abu Dhabi links will be coming out soon, but WhatsApp is just another communication platform that you can download the app on your phone. It's just like text messaging essentially, and it will be a great platform for us to utilize actually while we're on site at Worlds.
Okay. Perfect. Thanks, Lindsay. Let's talk a little bit about bike shipping. I've seen some questions come in through the chat around this. We want to make sure that we cover this. It is really frustrating, we know, for many of you. And if you've reached back to Lindsay and you've reached back to Tri-Bike Transport and you've looked at other options, we've had many conversations with them. And we've learned a lot about supply chain. As you've heard Zone 3 speak about supply chain, it's the world that we're living in right now. Costs have increased threefold for these transport companies to do the business they did before the pandemic hit. And as a result, they're not afraid to charge a lot of money because they have to, because they have no option. But they also don't want to lose business because you're looking at these prices saying they are gouging me and I'm not going to pay those ludicrous, ridiculous prices, and then have you never come back to them as a service agency. And so they've communicated to us saying, you know what, Lindsay and Tim, we just cannot offer the overseas bike transport support that we've been able to offer in the past. It would literally run probably $1,500 to over $2,000 just for bike transport alone. And that obviously doesn't work. For Montreal, we're there. Montreal, they're 100% guaranteed. They're making that commitment. We're in a really good place there. We know for many of you who are not driving to the event, that still would be a significant savings for you. It's a little bit easier to stay within North America to do bike shipping because you don't have all the other issues that arise when you're trying to get things overseas. One of the other things that we will encourage you to do with each of the events, because we will not be doing bike transport through Tri-Bike Transport, and that is look at the particular event sites for rental options. To the extent that Lindsay and I had a download before this call to speak to this a little bit, there aren't a lot of options. When we talk about Romania, there just aren't. And so if you are still seeking a bike to rent for Romania, go back to the companies listed there as a bike rent option and really needle them. I'm pretty relentless when it comes to getting answers to questions. And if they don't answer the first time, go back to them again. If they don't answer this, after 2 tries, go back to them again. Keep going back to them. Force them to come back to you with the answer. Force them to seek solutions that they may not be wanting to seek, but you can drive them to consider, have they looked at other areas of Romania where they can bring in bikes? We've done that. We've been told that that's probably not logical or reasonable, but it's certainly something that we know is important to you and it's important to us, and we're pushing as hard as possible for that to happen. The other thing that we know does occur, and it doesn't occur that much in international events because most of you will have your bike with you, and that is that there are situations based on scheduling of the races that there could be a bike share just for the American athletes, as an example. That all comes down to schedule. What's the first race? What's the last race? It all comes down to us being able to get approval for a bike transfer to happen within the same transition area so that athletes can still race. That's not a high propensity for support from World Triathlon because it creates a mess. And if they have too many people doing it, it doesn't really work. But we would certainly keep that door open if the schedule would allow us to look at that as an option. Again, that would be an absolute last resort where, as an example, something happened to your bike in transport, more than likely, and we didn't have a bike replacement because there are no rental bikes had, and we need to position you with the bike so you can actually race because you're here in Romania or you're in wherever, and we need for you to get on a bike in order for you to actually do the race. That's probably where most of the time would be spent to make that happen. The other thing that we've been told that you need to be really careful about, in airlines, again, if you go back to the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, you guys, how did we get our bike to world championships? We took them with us on the airlines. And the airline policies have changed with costing around a lot of that stuff. So the other idea is look at your bike case, okay? Hard shell is becoming the #1 option to protect your bike in transport. Too many times the soft shell gets beat up. It gets dropped from 6 to 8, 10 feet off a plane, breaks a derailleur, it breaks other parts of your frame. We don't certainly want to see that happen. So if you have the ability to borrow a hard shell, please do so. If you don't, I would protect your bike as much as you could with padding. So it's like being in a box of protected software that you have, software being soft goods, whether it be bubble wrap or big tissue paper or foam wrap or anything like that you could actually wrap your bike around to protect as best you can. All right, we're gonna move on so we don't run out of time. Let's talk a little bit, Lindsay, what shift we adapted to this last week relative to the intermediate international Olympic distance event in Texas.
Yeah, thanks, Tim. Like you guys know, we have our multi-sport festival nationals coming up in 3 short weeks now. And we have decided to make 2 TeamUSA qualifying spots available in each age group for the Olympic triathlon distance. The Olympic standard triathlon is not a national championship event in Texas, but we're going to add it as an additional qualifier for Team USA. So we highly encourage you guys to go and get registered for that event. The other qualifying event for Olympic triathlon is Age Group Nationals, which is in Milwaukee in August. So if you can't make that event, this is a perfect opportunity for you to get a chance to qualify for Olympic triathlon in 2023, which will be in Pontevedra, Spain. We don't know those exact dates yet, but we do know it'll be in Pontevedra in 2023.
Okay, perfect. Let's speaking of Texas, let's move on to the Team USA Lounge, something that is somewhat consistent with what we've done in the past, but we have a lot more lounge time that we're going to be spending, not lounging like relaxing for us, but certainly the opportunity for people to do some important things within this lounge there in Irving. Lindsay, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so because there are so many opportunities to qualify for Team USA in Texas, like Tim said, we'll have a Team USA lounge. In the lounge, you're going to find some awesome perks, including you're going to be able to try on the Zone 3 tri kits like Zone 3 talked about. We're going to have a lot of giveaways from a lot of our current partners here at USAT. There's going to be photo opportunities. Our travel partner, Jeff, is going to be there to talk about travel for 2023. And most importantly, that's where you're going to be required to come to claim your spot for 2023 Worlds. So if you qualify in the top 18 in your age group for one of the qualifying events, you'll be required to come to the lounge and indicate your interest to compete on Team USA in 2023. Currently, we won't be requiring payment because we don't know the dates for 2023. If that changes and we do get the dates for 2023 Worlds before multisport, that shift will change and we will communicate that out, but no payment will be required in the lounge, but you will be required to come, indicate your interest on the team, confirm that we have all your correct contact information. And if you don't do this while you're in Texas, your spot is going to roll down to the next athlete. The lounge will be open every day, so Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 2 to 6 p.m. or 2 to 8 p.m. depending on the day. Those hours are posted on the Multisport website, and also have started going out in the pre-race athlete emails. So long story short, if you qualify for Team USA, come by the lounge. We're going to have a gift for you. You're going to claim your interest, and all of that.
Yep, should be fun. I'm looking forward to maybe spend a little bit of time in the lounge with many of you. Let's move over quickly to travel. Jeff Manson, we got you on the line, our travel guru. You want to touch on some things very quickly, Jeff?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Tim. So quickly, all the travel packages are ready for all the World Championships this year. You can find them on Facebook and also the USA Triathlon website. I'll put my email here in the chat if you want to email me, have any questions as well. I'll quickly go over COVID protocols for Romania and Montreal and Slovakia. I won't touch base on Abu Dhabi quite yet since that's quite a ways away. So for Romania, there are no COVID restrictions to enter the country, whether you're vaccinated or unvaccinated. So again, this could always change, but as of right now, there are no restrictions. For Montreal, if you are vaccinated, you do not need to show proof of, or you do not need to take a PCR test before. They just waived that as of April 1st. Now, if you're unvaccinated, they still require a 14-day quarantine. So that could change between now and June, but as of now, they do require a 14-day quarantine for unvaccinated travelers to Canada. So please keep that in mind. We'll let you know if that changes. And then for Slovakia, it's same as Romania. There are no restrictions to enter the country, vaccinated or unvaccinated. Currently, the U.S. still does require you to get a negative COVID test before returning to the U.S. 1 day prior. We're keeping an eye to see if that will change, which it could, but as of now, that has not changed. So we will hopefully get you information on each country about where you can get those test before you return to the U.S. And then that's really it. Yes, for Slovakia, we just released the packages. I'm trying to get some more rooms at the main venue. So I'll put my email in here. So email me if you're interested in more rooms, because I might be able to get a few more at that X-Bionic Sphere, because that's where the main venue is. So Tim, I try to go as fast as possible. I think that's all I got, unless you want me to touch base on anything else.
No, it was good, Jeff. You know, one of the things about that X Sphere that we're talking about in Slovakia is this is an amazing venue. We touched on this in the last call. It has everything from foot massage beds to things that you guys might want, like indoor golf and bungee jumping, and it's just crazy. This place is like all in one. If you have family that want to go there and enjoy themselves, you could probably just have them hang out in this particular building for the entire week that you're there, and you may never see them or have to feed them or do anything with them, because they'll be so engaged with everything that's happening in this particular location. So, you know, we're excited by that and excited that we have the opportunity to actually compete with these 3 disciplines in Slovakia. So Jeff, thank you for that. The coverage in Romania, excited about that with what we're doing on the housing package. Montreal, again, Montreal, a little bit more like home for us, but obviously the packages become really critical to be part of the engagement with the team and the staff and all the things that we do within the host hotels. Certainly hope that'll drive some interest in moving forward, and then what we get to see in Slovakia. And we will cover Abu Dhabi in a short while on a future call as well, to touch on a little bit more what's going on there. We have a really, really good location in Abu Dhabi too, which is excellent for all of us. All right, we have a lot of questions that have been posed in the chat. Lindsay has jumped very quickly to answer as many of them as possible, which is important. For those that we can't get answered, we will work back and get them answered for you. So we'll make that happen. The one question I did see come in that I can answer before we close on the call with 1 minute to go, and that is in the situation where we obviously have draft legal sprint try happening in Texas as part of the Multi Sport Festival. What will happen with Tempe this year? I have a meeting with the Tempe team right now. It would not be a national championship, obviously, if they do have a draft legal sprint triathlon in Tempe. The fact is that without a national championship, they may not do it. We will learn more from them as soon as we know, and that call will probably happen within the next week with the people that make the decision on the campus of Arizona State University. So take a breath. Next town hall. Let's touch on that. May 11th, 4 p.m. You're all invited. We'll make it a celebration, because for many of you that have kids, the kids will be just about ready to finish school. It'll be almost state track and state swimming time. Exciting part of the year. The weather will be beautiful, but we still hope to have you guys, whether you're outdoors like Sue Reynolds is next to a pool, or you're inside working out on a bike. We hope you guys join us May 11th at 4 p.m. Mountain Time. That again, the links will go out in the next newsletter, post on the website, and then placed on the Facebook pages. Also, there's going to be a really important multi-sport festival, TeamUSA specific race briefing that we're going to be doing. Lindsay's essentially going to be leading it, and I'll help in certain places, but it's going to be April 20th at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. Please chime in. If you're going to Texas, you do not want to miss this. We're going to touch on a lot of different things about qualification. We're going to talk a little bit about the multi-level line of question we get on mixed relay, because we get all sorts of questions about how we're going to do this and how we're going to do that. So those questions can be answered as part of that, will be covered as part of that. And so there'll be a lot of things we'll be covering that Lindsay will be covering as part of that presentation that we'll again have on April 20th at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. Lindsay, any closing thoughts, comments?
No, I just want to say thank you all again for joining. I know this time we didn't get as many questions answered as we usually do, but we felt like it was really critical to have Zone 3 on the call. So that took up a lot of our time today. But like we've said, we're going to do a download of all the questions in the chat, and we'll create an FAQ, and that will be housed on the TeamUSA website on the main page. So be sure to in the next week to go back and take a look at this FAQ. We'll also probably get it emailed out. So just sorry again, we didn't get all the questions answered. They are really important to us, and we will get them answered. Just ran out of time today because a lot of good information got covered.
All right, guys, thank you. We hit just 2 minutes late. We apologize for that. but we are just going to be mindful of your time to get to dinner or to do what you need to do for the evening. Thanks again, everyone, for chiming in, for listening. We had over 100 people in the call today, which is a great number. We look forward to seeing you guys racing soon and at World Championships, National Championships as well in the next couple of weeks. So thanks, everybody. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Recording stopped.